All right. I will wait for a couple more people. I see there's one join. Get my notes here. So today I want to cover a bunch of topics, and I know that the holiday season's been close, so I wanted to kind of get this live stream out there before anything else happens, because I know with Thanksgiving coming up here in the States, and then we have only like 4 weeks between that and Christmas this year. So let's cover today's topics. The USDA, there's a big update on that that I want to talk to you guys about. Our farm plan. If you haven't seen my last two videos, we have the website up. I will put that in the chat. Um, it's a soft opening, so we are starting to sell some stuff. And if you hang around towards the end of the video, I will give you guys a really awesome discount on our first product launch. So that'll be that. So we're going to cover like the whole farm plan thing, and we'll get some random stuff. If anybody has seen the hemp auction in Tennessee, how that all went, I'm going to cover that. And the MORE Act. If you guys haven't heard, the House of, not the House of Delegates, what is that? House of Representatives passed the MORE Act in the committee, and we're going to cover that and what that means, that decriminalization bill, what that means going forward. Morning, Cliff. How's it going? So let's talk about the USDA first, and then we'll kind of cover the farm plan. But I really want to talk about this stuff first, and I have an article for you guys to read, and I will post that in the chat once I'm done covering it. So if you guys haven't heard, two of the Oregon senators wrote a letter to the USDA, which was a really big help for farmers, and I really want to cover it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the article in the chat right now, so you guys can take a look for yourselves later on. And what they essentially say is a lot of this interim rule is really bad for farmers, and they give their suggestions. And I really think that their suggestions are really, really good. The first thing they talk about is, expanding the 15 days to 28 days, giving the farmer a full month to harvest. I really think that that is a good way to go about it. And I'm kind of looking at their letter for tips on how to construct my letter. And I'm going to be doing that after Thanksgiving, once I have most of the facts straight. The other thing they talk about is allowing labs that are not DEA certified to be able to test hemp. Because if you don't do that, you're going to have a backlog with all those DEA hemp testing facilities. It's going to be terrible for the farmer, and it's just going to be a giant mess. So they suggest that, let other labs test, which I think is great. And also opens it up for private business, makes it competitive, price wise. It's just better, and that's how America is run. The other thing is eliminating the THC testing for decarboxylation. So that is key. That's where we're really going to talk about. Be able to not have to worry about decarboxylation of the hemp flower is huge, because you can keep the Delta-9 really low if you just grow the plant and you take care of it and you do it correctly. Most of the genetics now in today's world will fall into that 0.3. And I think that's a really big statement for them to say. They also suggest you take from the top 8 inches and instead of the top third, which I don't know if I agree with that. I think maybe I'm reading it wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, they're saying requiring hemp samples to come from the top 8 inches of the plant instead of the top third. So I guess the cola is what they want to be testing. That's good and bad. Your best samples are going to come from the cola, but also your highest concentrations are going to come from the cola. So that could not benefit the farmer. But, there's that trick of topping your plants before they come out. You can do that, but then you're harvesting prior to the testing. So I don't know how that works out. And then this is the biggest one. Raising the THC level to 0.5 from 0.5 to 1%. And that's huge, because the negligent farmer at 0.5, means a lot of people are going to be in a lot of trouble if you were to grow the same plants this year that or same plants next year that you grew this year. That's huge because negligent farming, you don't know what you're getting, right? Even seeds can variate. So that is really big. Protecting the farmer and putting it, even if it's just negligent, let's say you can't sell it still, but even if the negligent farmer is raised to 1%, that protects 90% of farmers today because we won't have to worry about going to prison. And I think that is huge. And I think worst case scenario, that's what the USDA should do. If they want to keep this total THC thing at 0.3, they have to at least give the farmer, confidence that you're not going to be going to jail if you get bad genetics because COAs are great, but they're not the end all be all. And a lot of these COAs are not tested with DEA testing facilities. So, it can vary. It can really vary. And then you have that whole thing in the USDA law, which I won't touch on too much, but they have reliability of the testing lab. So that lab that you're getting tested at has a 0.5 reliability, but you can have up to 0.8 then, and so then you have this whole variability in the labs and it just gets really messy. But that is a way to really protect farmers from being arrested or having any kind of legal trouble. If you got to burn it, unfortunately that's what it is, but at least you're not going to jail. And really, you don't want to be putting farmers in jail. That's just not going to look good for anybody, political wise, who wants to deal with that. So that I thought was really, really smart on their part, is, hey, at least you got to move the 1% of negligent, which is huge. So that's kind of my thing. Now, what I'm going to be doing as far as a letter goes for the USDA is I will publish it at some point so that if you want to copy and paste it, add to it, whatever, I can just make it a random Word document and you can do whatever you want with it. But the three things that I'm going to touch on are the harvest, the 15-day harvest. That's huge for farmers. So I'm going to address that in my letter to the USDA. And I think I'm going to follow suit with those senators from Oregon. I think I'm going to ask for the 28 days. I think asking for no limit isn't going to work. But so that's why I really like what these senators did. They kind of doubled everything and they made it look like it was a better idea if the USDA did this. And I like their approach to it. So definitely going to talk about the 15-day, going to move that to 28-day. The DEA labs, I'm going to talk about that in my letter. And I think that any lab should be able to test as long as it's using the standard method that all the other labs are using. And then I am still going to talk about the 0.3 Delta 9 and the 1% total THC. I'm going to throw that in my letter. But this letter that these senators gave, I'm going to also add, if you don't like that, at least move the negligent farmer up to 1%. So those are going to be the four things that I'm going to have in my letter. And again, it's going to really come out after the holidays. I plan on having it out probably the second week of December. And it's just going to be a crazy push to the finish line because it's probably the busiest time of year. And you have all these hemp farmers trying to move their product and stuff like that. And it's a really bad timing on the USDA's part, but I think we can still get it through. I haven't checked to see how many people have responded. But I know that the number is probably low, considering how many hemp farmers there are. So next, I really want to cover my farm plan for 2020. I know I've put out 2 videos recently. They kind of discussed, with YouTube cracking down and the FTC with this whole debacle, and then you have the farm plan not being able to sell products, not being able to move bulk hemp flower. So what my plan is for 2020 and what I think a lot of farmers are in. And I will take questions after the video is coming towards an end. I will do the live Q&A. I really enjoy that. So just bear with me on that. So the first thing I want to address is YouTube. I talked about it last night on that video. I don't know what's going to happen with the channel. And honestly, I just I don't have a good feeling about what YouTube is doing. Anytime the government gets involved, it's just never good. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out on the YouTube side of things. That's all I can really say about YouTube at this current time. I'm still trying to figure it out. And to add insult to injury, the FTC has a public comment period for YouTube channel creators. So I have to work on that, and that is due by the middle of December. So it's just been a madhouse to this whole public comment thing. So next, and I'm going to talk about the website next. So we have created a website. It's been in a soft opening, so to speak, and I have been starting to move retail. I will give you guys a sneak peek of the logo at the end of the video, and like I said, I have a great deal for you guys towards the end of the video too, if that's something you're interested in. So the soft opening there, if you go onto the website now, you can see that you can order stuff. I'm going to go on there now. If you click order now, it goes directly to an email if you have Outlook or something like that. And then if you go all the way to the bottom, you can see what the prices are for dog treats. And if you go up to the top and you find menu, you can kind of see what our menu is going to be going forward. And that is pretty much how we're going to operate retail-wise until we can get a bank to possibly work with us on the sale of CBD products. So the way ordering is going to go on, and from here forward, is when you click the order now button, it's going to direct you directly to my email, and then I can send you, you tell me what you want, and I will send you a link via PayPal, and you can pay via PayPal, or we can do cash by mail. And I know a lot of people probably don't want to do cash by mail, but that's really the only two options I have right now until that gets situated. I will be doing a Black Friday sale. And so as I start rolling out the website, you're going to start seeing a little bit more push for the retail. So just ignore that if you guys aren't interested and you're more here for the content. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing for that. So I did have a person who owns a website come out to the farm this week and take pictures of the hemp flower, and they will be selling small amounts of hemp flower on their website. So we'll be doing like pre-rolls and oh, yep, see, Redbeard Farms. He's right here. So as I just mentioned, he came out to the farm this week, and he's going to be doing all the small amounts of flower on his website, and he'll be doing dog treats on his website. And as we start testing our CBD oil, we'll be doing that. So that will be what we're kind of doing as far as retail goes. And I will actually, let me get the Redbeard Farms website. I'll put that in the chat. Our flower isn't up there yet, but it will be very soon. We're working on the logo stuff. So let me put that in the chat. So there's that website. And I'll leave a lot of those links in the description of this video once it's published. So that's kind of our retail farm plan. We have the new logo. It's not ready completely yet for like all platforms. So I can't, when I launch it, I want to launch it on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. It's just not ready for that yet, but I will give you guys a sneak peek of it towards the end of the video. That's pretty much it for our retail farm plan right now. So, and again, I'll have a special for you guys at the end of the video. The next thing I want to talk about is CBG, and I know I touched on it in my last video, but this is kind of a big deal. Has anybody seen the Oregon CBD or Oregon CBD? I think that's the name of the company. They did a press release on their CBG genetics and what they're going to be doing going forward. Their COAs looked phenomenal. They've been doing a ton of research on CBG, and they pretty much said, if you guys want it, there's a minimum 5,000 seeds. I didn't catch the price, and I'm sure it's going to be an absolute mad rush. They have two different strains. One is stem cell, and then the other one is white, something white. So that's going to be big. It's going to be a mad rush to get those CBG genetics. If you guys are watching this video and you know somebody with CBG genetics, let me know. Send them my way. I really want to work with those people. Okay, that's good to know. I will look into that. And Harvard Health CBD. Yeah, that it's going to be a rush to get these CBG genetics. I'm hoping that we can get a bunch of farmers together to maybe divvy out an order for Oregon CBD. It's something I think that's in the works. Hopefully, that's it. If you can even get the order, I'm sure it's going to be a first come first serve, and they're going to be slammed from my take on it. So that's kind of like our farm plan. Now the dog treats kind of, I'm going to go back to those for a minute. That's kind of where our focal point is going to be right now. For those of you that don't know, dog treats are unregulated by the FDA. And the reason why we're going that route of the dog treats right now is because we don't know what the FDA is going to do with CBD. And I talked about it a little bit in my Friday video. They don't really have a plan, or they don't have like an outline of what the FDA is going to do. I know Virginia has kind of released what they want to do. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, and how that affects farmers selling CBD products. So that's why I'm going the route of the dog treats. And I got to tell you guys, you can eat the dog treats yourself if you really want to. I'm not recommending it, but I have a couple right here, and there's 4 ingredients in them. Okay, done. I can eat the dog treats. It's peanut butter, whole wheat flour, chicken stock, and organic CBD coconut oil. That's it. You know what? They taste like a wheat thin, guys. They're delicious. They taste like peanut butter wheat thins. I've been, I'm telling you, I prove it. They taste good. They're delicious. You want dog treats that you can eat? If you go on a road trip, you can pack just for your dog and steal her treats. And they're edible. There's 4 ingredients in them, guys. Completely all natural and organic. Honestly, I could probably eat a bag of those. You want me to eat another one? All right. Hold on. Let me get the bag here. I'll do it. I'll eat another one. There you go. So I'm not eating dog treats for you guys on a live stream today. That's how I'm spending my Sunday. So we're getting on. I want to see cat food next. Wet cat food. I don't know, man. I think I'll stick with the wheat thin dog treats. I mean, I'm telling you guys, they taste like wheat thins. I've been working on this recipe for a little while. My dogs have been loving the gross. I'm gonna eat them. They asked me to. But no, seriously, guys, that's going to be kind of my angle, retail wise. I can't get rid of the flour right now. And for those of you that I've heard, when farmers ask for $600 a pound for flour, you're kind of putting yourselves in a corner. Yeah, that's true. To a certain extent. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes involved with it. And I think a lot of people have, I love it, Redbeard. I love it. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to undercut other farmers. I can't sell this stuff for $150 a pound, guys. I mean, in reality, first of all, I would be cutting my own legs off, and second of all, I'd be cutting other farmers off. And so that's why I'm kind of going the dog treat route. I think a lot of people have been forced into the retail because you can't sell your flower for $600 a pound. And I get that. People aren't buying it right now. People are buying the small grams and stuff like that and the pre-rolls. But I'll tell you something about pre-rolls. You better trust your farmer on that. I saw a post on Instagram this week, and I know Redbeard, who's in the chat, saw it probably too. That somebody bought a bale. So you're talking like a big hay bale wrapped in white plastic, full of hemp, just biomass hemp. They cut it open and said, "Oh, pre-rolls are coming," or something like that. The amount of mold that is in one of those hemp bales is probably close to toxic for any type of smoking or inhalation. If it goes to a processing facility, then yeah, all that stuff is removed and it goes into crude oil and it's fine. But you can't you don't want to be inhaling that stuff. And yeah, it's disgusting hemp that goes into these pre-rolls, and people are hiding. I see internet memes. Oh, this guy hid moldy hemp in my pre-roll. So if you're buying cheap hemp, $150, $120 a pound, stuff like that, you might want to question the integrity of it. And again, I'm not gonna sell my stuff for those prices. I'm just not gonna do it. I don't care what it takes to get a regular price, but we spent too much time this summer growing them and organic growing them and taking care of those plants for $150 a pound. I don't even know if I could break even with the amount of pounds that I have. So that's my response to, people are, they should take pride in what they're growing. But I think a lot of people have been put in these corners, and I'll jump into my next topic in a second here. But they're being put in these corners because they can't move products. So what are they doing? They're selling, they're buying it in these bulk amounts for super cheap, and they're making pre-rolls and charging you what quality flower is. And that's the problem with the hemp market. You don't see that in the THC market, because there is no giant fields of THC cannabis. So the hemp market is really fighting with itself, because people have the misconception that biomass is the same as hemp flower. And yes, there is hemp flower in biomass, but it's not to the quality of just hemp flower. And a lot of people are just trying to get away with buying those giant bales, divvying them up, and making a ton of money. And I think that is going to cause a huge problem in the hemp industry, and it's already causing it with the amount of flooded stuff on the market. Nice. You want some dog treats to go with that? With blue cookies. So I think that's kind of the problem. The difference between the biomass and the hemp flower, and people not understanding that difference. And I think that's going to be a problem going forward. And that's going to jump me into my next topic. So did anybody, and I'm watching the chat, has anybody saw the results to the Tennessee hemp auction? It was pretty bleak for hemp farmers. So if you haven't seen a lot of the results for the, I'll get to that, how much for the dog treats at the end. That's my special for you guys for sticking through the live stream. What do I think should happen about the biomass and stuff? It's tough, because I don't want to crucify other farmers by saying, oh, you need to find your own hemp market. What I think the problem is there needs to be kind of, I think there's enough room for everybody. I just think that, don't look, it'll crush your soul. Yeah, but my suggestion for the biomass versus the organic hemp flower is those biomass guys need to have some integrity. They need to have some integrity in their product. And I think a majority of them do. I think a lot of them send it off and get it processed for crude, but there's some of them, and I don't even know if this is all on the farmer, because it'll jump back into that Tennessee hemp auction. I don't know if it's the buyers. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to buy these bales of hemp from you, and then we'll process them and make them into oil and sell to people. Some people might be buying these hemp rolls, these giant biomass hemp rolls, and saying, oh shit, we can get $5 a gram for this stuff in a pre-roll. Why don't we make that and make oil? And we just paid, a really low amount for this giant bale of hemp. And those are the guys that I think need to be pressed harder and saying, you can't do this. And so my suggestion is, and I saw it in one of our Virginia hemp group chats, is maybe, local farmers, you have like some sort of certification where you put a sticker on your pre-rolls and saying, this is made with organic hemp or hemp flower from this farm. Because if you're buying a pre-roll from a shop, they don't have to tell you what farm it came from. They don't have to tell you any of that. It just has to meet those USDA requirements. It has to meet the cannabinoid level requirements. They don't care where it came from. And it is a catch-22 because now you're talking about more oversight, more government regulation. And does anybody really want that? But that's why I think, going back to the USDA, I think that's why they cracked down so hard, because they saw people getting around the Delta 9 THC number and having these THCA numbers that were up in the 15, 20%. And they cracked down on it because people were skirting the law. And so for every action that we're taking, expect a reaction. And I think that's why I'm really hesitant with the FDA, because I don't have a problem with people making CBD oil in the kitchen. Hell, I do it. And I sell it to friends and family and friends of friends. But I haven't put it on the market yet because I don't know what the FDA is going to do. And they may come down and say, nope, has to be in an FDA certified kitchen. It has to be this approved, that approved. The next thing you know, we just killed that market. So you have to really balance, being an outlaw, trying to make a buck, and also having integrity. And I think with the biomass stuff, that's a tough one. It's a tough one because you don't want hemp farmers going against hemp farmers. You want us to be together. I don't care that you guys grow for biomass, but don't affect my market as a craft hemp grower. There's got to be a symbiotic relationship here. And unfortunately, most of the biomass is grown by big ag. So a lot of times they just steamroll over the small farmer, and that brings down the quality of the product. And that's kind of where we're headed. You're kind of headed towards a battle between small farm and big farm when it comes to hemp, because the big farmers want to grow it in these giant fields for mass production of CBD oil, and the small farmers, they want to grow it for quality stuff. And it's like Whole Foods versus Walmart. They can be next to each other, but most people go to Walmart. So it's really tough, and I don't have an answer for how that should be solved. So, and that leads me into the Tennessee hemp auction. If you guys have not seen it, go ahead and check it out. You can just Google it. Yeah, we do. We need to come together with some sort of hemp farmers market for sure. Yeah, thanks. I really hope everything gets pulled through. I hope everything starts settling down a little bit. I think right now we're in this reactionary period. Hopefully by the spring, everything kind of settles down. We know where we're going. But the Tennessee hemp auction, let's talk about that for a second, and I'll get some more questions. If you guys haven't seen it, I don't have a link. I can try to go pull one up. Let me see if I can pull one up here. It was bad, guys. It was absolutely bad. And if you're a farmer or you're looking into growing hemp, here we go. Here's a link I will get for you guys. It's just a local news down in Tennessee. I'll post that in the chat. So yeah, farmers got the screw. I saw as little as 10 cents per point per pound. So let's do this for instance. Let's do some math. At 10 cents a point per pound, we have 21% CBD. Okay, that's $2.10 a pound. Now you had farmers with the promise of $30,000 to $60,000 an acre. That was pretty much where everybody had growing hemp, $30,000 to $60,000. So at $2.10 with an average of 1 pound per plant and 2,500 plants, you're at $5,250 per acre from 30,000. That's a $25,000 difference that farmers were expecting. The minimum a lot of people said was 30,000 an acre for hemp flower grown per acre. So you have farmers extremely frustrated. Now, do I think there's farmers in there with 21% CBD? Hell no. You're talking biomass. You're talking 6, 7, 8, maybe 10%. So these guys are getting cents on the pound or dollar per pound. And that's not good. And that's what's happening. And farmers are in such a tight spot right now that they have to let it go at those prices just to recoup costs. And that's where you're having this huge flood in the market where people are like, well, you farmers are charging us $600 a pound. Nobody's going to buy it. Well, my farming technique and that guy's farming technique who grew the 10 acres are completely different and should be completely different products. So if you're looking at this as a wannabe hemp farmer for 2020, I'm telling everybody to just don't do it. And if you do it at an extremely small scale. Do it where you don't have to hire people. You don't have to have a drying facility or built, or you have to hire a drying company. Do it so that you can do it on your own time in your own land with what you have. Because what I see the most and what I saw prior to even getting into hemp was people losing everything, people losing life savings, people, essentially betting the farm and losing the farm on hemp. No, not everybody does the soil wars. So yeah, I think that you've got to, if you look at it from the aspect as a hemp farmer, go small, figure out the plant first, and wait for the market, guys. That's the biggest thing. You can grow 100 acres of it, 10 acres of it, whatever you're equipped for it. 100 plants like we did. Just if you've never grown it before, you really need to learn what it does first before you grow fields of it. But that's my suggestion. We're going to get into rec legalization here in a minute. That's going to be my next random topic that I have written down over here. But before we get into that, the thing about the plant is if you've never grown it, you definitely need to grow it in a small scale first to understand what the plant does when it reacts, how it does with weather. Heat, like this year with some of the heat and humidity that we had, it was brutal on some of those plants, and kelp ended up saving the day. And a lot of those big giant fields, not spraying kelp on those things. So who knows? Those levels, cannabinoid levels, fluctuate quite a bit when the plant is under stress. So you really got to dial it in. And I think if you're going to farm hemp in 2020, that's something you're just heart set on doing. Don't plant more than you can handle with what you have right now. Do not bet the farm on it. Try different genetics. And I'm going to make a video or maybe do another live stream on some of my tips that I could give future hemp farmers that want to do it in 2020, because we've learned a lot of lessons this year, a lot of lessons. So, and I see J&K Triple G there. He said that legalization is something he's waiting for. And that's what I'm going to touch on next. So if you guys haven't seen, it made the news pretty much everywhere, that the MORE Act. So this is a marijuana decriminalization bill that passed a judicial committee in the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. And that's key because it's not just the state. This is the federal government. So it's a decrim bill, which is exactly what hemp did in the Farm Bill. They decriminalized hemp. They removed it from the Scheduled Substance Act, or the Substances Act. So what does this mean? Well, this means a lot of things. It passed the Judiciary Committee, which is its first step. So now we'll go to the House floor. Now, if the House of Representatives can get their head out of their ass and stop doing all this crazy stuff and not passing a single bill in like the last 9 months or some ridiculous amount of time, they haven't done jack shit for the American people other than do this dog and pony show on the TV. But I'm not even getting into that. So it could literally just sit on the Speaker of the House's desk for for months. It could even wait till the next election. We don't know, but it's a big deal that it passed the committee. So at some point, it will come up for a vote on the House floor, whatever the House of Representatives decides to literally start passing laws that they're on her desk. So that's a big deal, and I think you can push your representative depending on what kind of state you're in. Whether you're in a more conservative or a more liberal, or wherever that works. This is huge for hemp farmers, and I'm going to give it a different spin. Yeah, it's big for marijuana too, but it's really big for hemp farmers. And why I say that is because not every state will probably follow suit if this gets decriminalized like they did with hemp. It will be treated a lot differently. It'd be more like alcohol. And the way I see this playing out is if you can pressure your representative and say, yeah, we want you to vote for this decrim bill, because you know what? Because it'll fall back on the states to how to regulate it. The decrim bill essentially keeps farmers out of prison indefinitely, no matter what your hemp came in at. And, but yeah, hopefully that's a good thing. But we'll see if they actually hold truth on it. But that's kind of my angle with this, is if you can pressure your representative by saying, look, you don't even have to legalize it if it gets decriminalized and signed by the president. It just make it so the farmers aren't going to go to prison. And I think that's how you start this ball rolling. It's baby steps. And in that kind of situation, you could reach a representative that may be on the fence, or maybe like, no, I'm not voting for this. This is the gateway drug, as Joe Biden says. But you could say, well, you're actually protecting farmers by doing this, because we already have hemp. And now they're saying if you go over 0.5 THC, you're going to go to prison. But if you pass this, nobody's going to jail. And then that might open up some politicians' eyes and be like, oh, well, yeah, we don't want to send farmers to jail. So you could probably pressure your representative to vote yes on this, regardless of where they are on the political spectrum. Like I said, I don't like to get into politics here, but that's a really good angle, because nobody wants to hate on farmers, right? I mean, nobody hates on farmers. It's just not mainstream to do that. So that's kind of like my thing on the MORE Act, and I think there'll be more on it later on. As we get to the holidays, and I know that they go on recess sometime soon, so we'll see how that plays out. Let's see what else we got here. Talked about CBG. I gotta take some questions now before I go into sharing the logo that I have here and going on that. Oh, one more thing. I know I did talk to the guy about talking to our Virginia senators. I know the Oregon senator sent that letter in. There's no update on the Virginia senators doing anything yet. But I will reach out and see if they will do something at some point. But I'm not sure if they're doing anything yet. Let's see. Let's look through some questions here. Shout out from Fresno, California. Oh, it's awful early over there, isn't it? We guys are 3 hours difference. Was it just like 8 o'clock or something? Dang. Oh, the old West Coast. Let's see. Hey, questions that I missed. I already ate the dog treats for you guys. How much for hemp seeds? So we don't have any hemp seeds. Virginia, so we're not going to be selling hemp seeds because Virginia has this weird law about the seeds. So they have to be, sterile, which, it's not, how do you prove that, right? But I haven't grown for seed production. And if I do, it will be for like small batch seeds, not for human consumption or growing. I may play around with it this winter and do some seeding. I don't even have a male on farm, so I may actually end up looking for a male plant at some point just to start doing some seed projects. Maybe like if I get a CBG plant, like maybe get a male one and cross it over with some of my nice CBD, play around with that. But no hemp seeds right now, guys. As far as retail goes, the only two things that I'll be selling right now are the dog treats and the flour. And the majority of my flour will be going through the Redbeard website. I'll probably just be handling bulk on my side. If you want small increments, that'll be the website to go to. And if you're a veteran, you'll get a discount. So that'll be good for you guys. That's kind of like the retail side. I'm not going to get into too much retailing of products yet. Uh, so any other questions you guys have about that stuff? I can get into kind of like launching our retail line. We are going to be doing a Black Friday sale. I know that's cheesy because it's Small Business Saturday too. So we'll be kind of doing a small sale. I will be doing a flour sale. I will be getting rid of 1 pound at a really discounted rate just to start moving some stuff. But I'm only selling 1 pound at that price. It's not like I'm going to. I'll talk to you about that too, doing the bulk orders. But yeah, so we're kind of gonna do a soft opening this week as far as ordering goes, and that's what I'm going to tell you guys. So first, before I get into that, I'm going to show you guys a sneak peek of the logo. So here it is. That is our sneak peek of our logo, and so as you can see, it's focused on the dog. It's my dog Ruddy. You see him in the videos every now and then. He's been one of the test subjects for the dog treats, and again, I think that's going to be kind of our niche. So that's the sneak peek. And so for today, guys, what I'm going to do for you is, if you stuck it out through this entire live stream, what you could do is in the next hour. So if you don't send me an email in the next hour, it's not going to work out for you. I will sell you a bag of dog treats, any size. So they're 5 ounces. So they're all weighed. So it's not like, if you buy big treats, you get, more or less. They're all 5 ounces. So typically the 5 ounce bag of small treats is like 20 treats. The mediums are around 14, 15. And then the larges are right around 10, 11 treats. Because it all depends on how they come out of the mold. So I'm going to offer them for $10 a bag, which is ridiculous. I can't really make much money on that, but because you guys stuck it out towards the end, I really want to give you guys that offer. So what you'll do is, if you go to our website, you hit order now, you send me an email within the next hour, and I will get those shipped out to you. And I will try to get those before Thanksgiving, but I don't have a guarantee on that. But the normal price is $15, and I will be doing a Black Friday deal, but it definitely won't be $10 a bag. So that's what I'm going to give you guys, just for sticking around, watching the video. I do appreciate you guys supporting the channel as the YouTube thing unfolds. Who the hell knows what they're going to do to the channel, because it's not commercially viable, if they're going to shut it down, what the deal is. There's a lot of people running scared right now from YouTube. So we're looking at other platforms like BitChute, and we're looking at what is it? I think WeedTube or something. So we may end up moving over to there. And we're looking into like Patreon. If you guys know what Patreon is, do that to support the farm. So we're moving around a little bit, trying to figure out how to keep afloat for 2020, and we'll just see how it plays out. But I think I've covered everything for today. If you guys have questions, again, when it comes to the USDA stuff, I will be having a letter, just a regular, plain old Jane Word document letter that you can scribble on yourself. It's not going to be anything fancy, unless I work up with a lawyer or something. I know there's a couple people working on really nice letters, and if I get a hold of one of those, I will maybe share it if I can. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. Any questions? Any comments? I think I got all the questions from the chat. So yeah, I'm pretty actually I'm pretty stoked about the logo. I think it's going to be really nice. I think it's going to go together great. We'll see how this YouTube thing plays out. If we have to remove the word cannabis from our channel, we may have to do some rebranding. I've already kind of got some thoughts on that, on how we'll rebrand. But if you guys, again, before I close out the video, if you guys want the dog treats, remember, send me an email within the next hour. So what is it? It's 11:30 now. So I'll give you guys till 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to send that email, and I can get those out. Limited quantities, but I see there's only four guys watching, or 4 people watching, so not too big of a deal. I have plenty in stock for that. And if you guys are interested in flower, if you're interested in that stuff, reach out to me. But it will also be available on the Redbeard Farms website that I left in the chat. And I'll leave all those links in the description when the video gets published on YouTube. You can just go down and check all the links in the description. I'll have the website there. I'll have our Instagram, Facebook, and I'll put one for the Redbeard Farms website. Even though our flower is not on there yet, I want you guys to get familiar with that website if you want to buy hemp flower. And I think that's it. I think we've answered all the questions for today. Can you sell growing seeds under the 0.3 limit? Yeah, you can sell seeds under the 0.3 limit, but where you're going to run into problems is if you know that the seed will be under the 0.3 total THC limit, you're fine. Where I think some seed producers are sweating it is if you know that it can't meet that requirement and you knowingly sell it to a farmer, you're technically at fault. So selling seeds for hemp flower production right now is difficult, very difficult, because you're playing with fire. Because if you don't know, ignorance is bliss in that stance. And that's why I'm not even touching hemp flower seeds. I was originally going to sell clones next year. I'm not going to sell clones. I'm not going to sell cuttings. I'm not going to do any of that, just because I don't know what fault I would have if the farmer goes over. And knowing that Biox and cherry wine and pretty much 90-something% of genetics right now, unless cut early, are not going to meet that requirement. So yeah, you have to be careful with selling seeds right now. The only thing I could say is if you do sell seeds, just tell the farmer, like, look, you got to harvest within 2 weeks of flower, 3 weeks of flower. Then I think that kind of falls on the farmer, right? If he goes to 5 weeks, but you said 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you'll be fine. So there's ways around it. Selling the seed, it's just more legalities, more crap that you have to deal with. And I've jumped through enough hoops already legally, so I'm just kind of tired of it. It's kind of why I went the dog treat route, because they're just unregulated and there's not as many questions. But as long as you guys trust the source, you don't have to worry about regulation. And I think that's why we're doing that. Oh, well, thanks for showing up. I appreciate you discovering the channel. Did you search in like the YouTube bar or live stream? How did you find it? That's really cool. I appreciate you coming on to the channel and joining the chat. So yeah, so that's kind of my take on the hemp seed stuff. Related videos from other hemp growers. Sweet. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad we're showing up in the YouTube algorithm. We kind of hit a real bad dry spell lately with the YouTube algorithm. It hasn't been picking up any of the videos for about 2 weeks. It's been real tough. So I'm glad that maybe this will break the spell there. Oh, Mama got a tractor. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Yeah, great content. Well, you have a great channel too, so I'm not I'm not gonna knock that at all. You have some great videos over there. Go check out her channel too. She's in the chat right now. She does very similar situation. If maybe one of these days we'll do a live stream on both of our channels. She's in the same situation. She's starting to sell her hemp products too. She just made a video about that, and I think a lot of farmers are in that situation where you well, thank you for joining the chat. I appreciate it. I think a lot of farmers are in a situation where they had to do retail and they don't want to do it. And I think she's in the same situation as me, where it's like, you have to do something with the product you have. I think on her video, she had 17 pounds. We don't have quite that amount, but it doesn't matter if you have, 10 pounds, 17 pounds, 100 pounds. Right now, it's just sitting there. The only good thing about hemp is if it's cured right, it has a very long shelf life. So that's a plus. And so hopefully everybody who's, not moving now, maybe later on down the road will be able to move. But yeah, well, I'm so happy you found the channel through the algorithm. It gives me a little faith that YouTube may not shut us down, but who the hell knows? Let's see. But yeah, guys, I think I'm going to close out today's live stream unless you guys have more questions. I do appreciate you all showing up today. It helps out the channel quite a bit too. When we do these live streams, more people that join, more people that like the video. So before I close out, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up as we close out the video. And again, I will post it on our channel later on once YouTube formats it and I can post it as a video. And don't forget, if you send me an email within the next hour wanting to order a bag of dog treats, I may end up having to limit like one per person, except if people want to order like 10 bags. But I will sell them for $10 per bag. That's with shipping. So we'll do a PayPal if you have PayPal. If you do cash through mail, it just takes a lot longer. So I prefer PayPal. It's quicker and easier until we can get some sort of payment situation set up, and we'll do that. And then again, we'll be on Redbeard's website very soon with some hemp flower. So look for that. And that's all I have for you guys today. So again, I saw the thumbs ups going up. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys in another video. Take care. And hopefully you guys have a great Thanksgiving, a great holiday season. If I do have time, I will do another live stream sometime between now and Christmas, kind of giving an update for the USDA. And I should have a letter. So if I do another live stream, I should have a letter ready for people to use to send into the USDA. And let's hope that no other bad news comes down. We'll hold our breath for the YouTube terms and conditions on the 10th. We'll see how that plays out for the channel. I don't think it's going to be an instant crackdown, but you never know with YouTube. You just don't know. We're at their mercy. So we just got to behave ourselves and don't do anything stupid, and hopefully we'll be fine. And before I close out the video, if you guys are just showing up, I will show you the new logo one last time. Really happy about it. Looks great. I can't wait to get it all formatted and get it up on all the platforms and start putting it on our products. But if you do order a bag of dog treats, no logo will be on those bags yet because we haven't. Oh, there's my buddy right there. He's behind me. So yeah, we won't have any logos on any of the bags yet. It'll just be a bag like this, and it's been weighed, 5-ounce treats. So that's what we'll have for now. And that's it for today, guys. So take care. Have a great holiday season. Hopefully I will see you in another live stream in a couple of weeks. And of course, I'll be posting videos once a week at minimum. So look forward to those. And I will see you guys in another video. Take care. And again, have a great Thanksgiving.